to see everyone here. So as you came in, I have a sign in, an email. I just asked for emails if you'd like to be included in our email system. We'll email periodic updates. We have, let's see, we have a copy of our current financials. I was provided a list of questions from the city that was given to them at one of the city council meetings. And so the answers are all there. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Marsha Pyle. I'm the Executive Director of the Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team. And I want to take this time not to read on any of these pieces of paper. I want to talk. Everybody has concerns. You came out. Let's talk. And so, as Mr. Jackson has said, ask us anything. So, as long as we have an answer, we can answer. First of all, I'd like to start off by introducing our staff. That was my big thing that I'd like to do. We have a staff, a total of 5 people that do everything, that run FCDRT. We have Jack Mackay. He's our construction manager. He handles all of the volunteers, getting them coordinated, getting them where they need to go, getting bids on different projects that we're working on. We have Crystal Daniels. She's our administrative assistant, and she's the lovely voice you hear on the other end of the line when you call the office. She's my right-hand gal. We currently have 2 case managers, Adriana Beach and Juana Gonzalez. They are fairly new to our organization, and so let me go into our board. Our board president is Joy Cameron. She was unable to be here. She's stuck in Houston weather and traffic. Our vice president is Mr. Larry Jackson. And another board member here is Bob, tell me your
Heath.
Heath. I want to call him Heath. Sorry. Horrible with names. Forgive me if I don't remember your name because I'm horrible with names. But come see me a couple times and I'll have your name. Let's see. Do we have any more board members here? I'm sorry. Okay. So another board member is Carol Martyr. We have Bruce Frenzel and
Phil A. Strike.
Phil A. Strike is our treasurer. Am I missing anyone? No.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty much our organization. Yes, ma'am.
Phil who?
Ostrich. It's like ostrich, like the bird, the ostrich, but it's ostrich. Treich.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you can't hear me, move your seats up here, come move around. You don't have to sit in a straight line. Let me start off. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. I am a transplant from LaGrange. I'm not born and raised here. I'm a transplant. My husband is from LaGrange, lived his whole life here. My in-laws are from here, and I have 3 amazing children. One's in college, and one's in high school, one's in middle school. I feel like I have a very big servant's heart, and that's why I have come on with the disaster recovery team, because all I want to do is help. All I want to do is help as many people as we can that have been affected by Hurricane Harvey. I'm going to open the floor to any questions. Let's start it off. I don't want to waste your time. So, yes, sir.
Who is the leader?
Who is the leader?
Yes.
The leader of?
Every organization has a really good leader. Who's the leader of this organization?
I am the executive director. That would be me. That would be me. Okay. Good question. Yes, ma'am.
What is your background?
As far as education or experience,
Yes, what is your educational background?
Okay.
What have you done before?
okay,
Becoming the executive director?
all right. Very good question. Okay, so I attended St. Mary's University in San Antonio. Finished my degree, became a Navy wife. Finished my degree with Texas A&M Central Texas, out of Killeen, formerly Central Texas College. I was born and raised in Seguin, Texas, which is just right down I-10. I have been a bookkeeper majority of my life. That's pretty much what I've done. I was taught by my godmother. She was a CPA. I do the books. Well, I was the financial secretary for the First United Methodist Church. I do the books for Mount Calvary Lutheran Church here in town. So yes, I have two. I used to have three, but now two jobs. And so that's my experience. I do various ministries throughout the community. I help coordinate with my son and his friend the LaGrange Lunch Bag Program. I do the Coats for Kids program, the LaGrange Backpack Program, the Backpack Festival, Back to School Festival.
ESL?
Yes, no, I'm going to say I helped co-chair ESL, but I don't teach. That's pretty much my resume. Like I said, I'm a mom. That's why you don't see me at the city hall meetings, because I'm a mom. My son plays select ball, my daughter does volleyball and basketball, and I'm a busy mom. So I choose family over meetings. So y'all are extremely lucky that I'm here tonight. Okay, next question. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ms. Kyle, I'm Sarah Mabry, and I'm a member of the LaGrange Citizens Alliance Steering Committee.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question for you.
Sure.
When you assumed your responsibilities as the executive director, did they present to you a business plan?
No, they did not.
Do they have a business plan?
We are in the process of creating our policies and procedures. We are in the process of restructuring everything in general.
So the land was purchased without a business plan?
Not so much. The money was given by Samaritan's Purse with the precedence that Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team would purchase a piece of property and create a subdivision with it to be able to provide some affordable housing for the recovery of those affected by Hurricane Harvey.
That is the extent of the business plan that they had at the time that you stepped into your
I can
role.
actually address that somewhat.
Okay, go ahead.
What happened, and it's a natural growth of an organization, the folks, there were a lot of boots on the ground here. And the folks that were here, and Kenny's here now, he can speak to this, but they did a fantastic job. They came into an area where not a lot of people were wanting to come in and do the boots on the ground work, and basically invented this organization from the ground up.
Organic.
Right about when she began was a turnover, to trying to become more professional, trying to set things up a little better. The board did some turnover, we've turned over personnel, and we're starting to try to shape this organization. One of the reasons we needed some of the bookkeeping background was, while everything was kept in records, those records were not always identical across the board. You had to dig through to find stuff. They're making a really major effort to get all that stuff better organized and to go forward with a little bit more professional outlook. But in defense of the folks who started it, it was 100% organic. It was.
So with the major decision for the purchase of the property, that was without a business plan. Yes or no?
The plan was to provide affordable housing for the victims, the survivors of Hurricane Harvey. Now, there was a proposal. There was a proposal that was, that was presented as far as the vision itself. So if you want to call that the business plan, you can. But it was created with a vision as this is what we are going to do.
But
This
it did
is
not have nuts and bolts. That's what I'm trying to get to. It did not have the nuts and bolts of a formal business plan at the time the property was purchased. And it still did not have that at the time you took over the executive director. Is that, all I want is yes or no? Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My name's Dixie Lanius, and I'm a citizen here in town.
Yes, ma'am.
And what's your name, sir?
I'm Jack McGuy. I'm the construction manager,
Jack
Mackay. Yes.
MCI.
I'll probably spell that wrong.
MCIE.
C-I-E. That's about as bad as Lanius.
Almost like a sex.
And you said when they came in, there were few boots on the ground. Who is they?
Joy, Kenny, the initial organization that started the entire operation to try and help people. Their main concern was just helping people in the community.
Roy and Kenny.
Joey.
Joey Melton.
Joy. Okay, so Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team was put together in response to this disaster. If your house is on fire, are you going to sit here and take a meticulous list of everything that you have in your home? No, you get out, and then you start over. That's all you can do. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, but back to they, you said when they came in.
The original board of directors.
Who contacted Samaritan's Purse, a fine organization?
Okay, so there were many meetings. Joey, would you like to address that? Okay.
That was the Midnight Disaster Services who made the initial contact with Samaritan's Purse. Midnight Disaster Services was in town helping us build homes here. They had connections with Samaritan's Purse and then made a phone call.
Thank you.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
How much money did Samaritan's Purse give this organization?
$3 million.
$3 million.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of money.
Does Samaritan's Purse know about this meeting?
Yes.
Do you all have possession of that money? Can you do anything you want to with it, or is it in a trust or escrow?
So if you look at the financials, you can see that there's 1.9, there's $1 million and there's $1.9 million in another fund.
Is the money in your possession, or is it in a trust?
No, it's in
or
our
escrow?
possession. It was
So you could
a,
write a check
yes.
for it if you so desire.
yes. Yes, it was a
There's no
gift.
strings attached to the money.
It was given with the precedence that we would use it for recovery for flood victims.
But
We are
even
to
if-
use majority of the funds, and this is like a word, like you and I having a conversation, and you give me $10, and I say, okay, out of that $10, I'm going to use $8 of this, and I'm going to put it towards the project. And that's exactly what we're
Well,
doing. We're
but
making sure that we put majority of the funds towards the infrastructure of Hope Hill.
Okay, but any gift, if it's a gift, it's yours,
Yes,
and there are no strings attached.
but again, it's my word.
Right, but you haven't
My
been
word
here-
has to mean
you haven't been
something.
here very long.
My word still has to mean something. And I'm not going to promise you anything that I'm not going to be able to provide. Yes, ma'am.
Another thing about this Samaritan's Purse thing, it was just on TV, I believe it was last night or the night before, that 130,000 homes were destroyed or damaged in Houston. It just seems like $3 million from Samaritan's Purse is all out of proportion. Do you have any idea how much they might have given for the Houston recovery or other areas like that?
Samaritan's Purse is a very large umbrella. And they help out as many counties as possible. They have people all over the country. They have programs for rebuilding homes. They have programs for replacing mobile homes. And so if you're saying, why did LaGrange get this large sum of money? Is it odd is because if you look at all these small rural communities around the country, they've attempted the same thing that we're trying to do. They've attempted to come in, buy a large parcel of property, put it into lots, and provide some affordable housing for the recovery of their natural disasters. And none of them have succeeded. And in that, Samaritan's Purse wanted to guarantee that with this being privately funded, that it will succeed. Yes, ma'am.
Perhaps the largesse of the donation
Mm-hmm.
of $3 million was done after it was pitched to Samaritan's Purse that this acquisition of property would be available and open to Hurricane Harvey victims from throughout Texas.
No. It's for Fayette County recovery. It was for LaGrange recovery. It was never specified across the country, across the state, across anywhere.
That was not communicated to Samaritan's Purse.
That was never part of the deal in getting the money, that we had to provide housing. Specifically, everyone within the subdivision had to be a Harvey flood survivor.
And it was not in writing, but
Nope.
could it have possibly been a verbal
No.
pitch?
There was nothing, as far as to my knowledge, there was nothing besides Fayette County LaGrange recovery.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the money in the bank somewhere here in the local area?
Yes, ma'am. We, we have been given this money, and like I said, we have a large number of new board members. We are looking at the funds, and we are in the process of, as you can see on our financials, we have our money in 2 great big pots. And we're looking at dispersing them, earning more interest, so that the money that's given to us, we can then reflect that we have been good stewards of our funds.
And so do you have to explain to Samaritan's Purse how you spent it, or?
As long as it goes towards the recovery of Harvey survivors in LaGrange and that subdivision is created, there is no explanation necessary.
So the
Yes, sir.
money- okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can only be used for that property. In other words, you wanted to help somebody, one of the victims, as we call them, if you wanted to help one of those, you could write a check to those also, even though they were not going to be in the property.
Okay, say that again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that.
She's asking whether or not somebody else who was a victim of Harvey would be able to access the funding if they're not part of Hope Hill.
Sure, go ahead.
Can I answer that maybe a little bit? When I first got involved with this, which was only about 6 weeks ago, maybe it's been 2 months, I wasn't quite sure what all was going on there and where it all came from. And so I've been trying to understand that better. And one of the things that confused me was, why are we dealing with a subdivision over here, and then we're talking about caseworkers? What do caseworkers have to do with subdivisions? And the answer is nothing. The situation that started this whole deal was, how can this community help people who have lost their homes, are in really disastrous situations? Subdivision was never thought of originally when it first started. It was, how can we take care of people who've lost their mobile homes, been washed away? How can we help people whose homes were flooded and need to be repaired? How can we help people recover from a disaster? And so a lot of funds came in, to start with, really through the Ministerial Alliance. It was a big part of it. These funds came to the Ministerial Alliance, and they said, okay, now what are we going to do? And so the disaster recovery team was formed to coordinate the volunteers. Those funds then were given to the disaster recovery team. There's no $3 million involved in that, right? Okay. So this is relatively small amounts of money. I mean, it's tens of thousands of dollars, but it's relative, compared to 3 million, it's pretty small. And so these funds were used to buy building materials to help people whose homes were destroyed. So the initial effort was towards how many homes? There were some that we had to take down. How many were those, Jackie? 10? 12?
We had to demo.
The demos.
Let's see, 4, 5, 6. At least
Six homes completely demoed. There was,
that I'm aware of.
okay, maybe some others. There was an awful lot of, as we say, boots on the ground, of people who just volunteered to come help and muck out these houses. So there was a lot of this going on. Well, then somebody has no place to live, they need to find a motel room or something like that. So we assisted in putting people into temporary housing. So all of this is going on. Now then, what's going to happen when the FEMA money runs out and you're no longer paying the hotel room? Now what are we going to do? The idea, as I understand it, was, maybe we could come up with a permanent location that's not down in the floodplain. And the idea came, well, how about a subdivision? And Samaritan's Purse said, we'll make a little pilot project here. If money was the only problem, would you be able to solve it if you didn't have to worry about the money? And apparently the answer was, yeah, if we didn't have to worry about the money, we wouldn't have any problems. That was obviously a wrong
Or if we didn't have to deal with government money.
Yeah, but the point was, Samaritan's Purse basically said, okay, we'll give you $3 million. Now you don't have to worry about the money. See what you can do. Can you find some housing for people? And that's kind of where we are today.
Your $3 million has to be spent on the Hope Hill property.
I'm going to say not necessarily. The essential, I understand. Let me go on and say there is no written agreement with Samaritan's Purse that says you have to do this or we'll sue you.
Right, when they give you the money, you can do whatever you
That's
want.
pretty much the case.
Go to Vegas.
Now
Why
then.
don't you go to town and buy some houses?
And again, we have been doing some of this.
Y'all have bought some?
We have assisted. I'll let you deal with that.
What's your question?
Have we put anybody into a new home?
$3 million, you gave them your word you're gonna spend the $3 million.
But it was to purchase the property.
Towards this
It wasn't
particular
to,
project.
it was to purchase one large tract.
Yes.
Yes, one large tract.
But you got $3 million. You don't have to, do you have to spend the $3 million on that property? Or could you go across the street and buy a house for someone?
I could. However, the word was given, and my word stands for something. The word was given to Samaritan's Purse that is what we would do with the money. And so I'm not going to be shady. I'm going to do what we talked about. Yes, sir.
Do you think that is the best option to do?
You know what? When the flood happened, I was on the ground mucking out houses, cooking food for people, doing all of this. And you know what? I said, I'm going to go play the lottery and I'm going to buy that piece of property on Horton Street. And I'm going to cut it up into lots and I'm going to have a place for these people to go.
That was your vision?
Yes,
Your vision.
that was my vision. As a person that lived in LaGrange that's a transplant, I'm not from here. I have nothing invested here besides my 6 years. My parents aren't here, but that was my vision. I wanted to simply do something for the people that were affected in our community.
Now let me add, we also had ongoing a parallel effort where we've had volunteers in who've gone out in the community and helped repair homes. They're not usually at a level like the volunteers we're about to have come down from Midnight Disaster Services. They haven't been at a level where they could build a home, but they've gone and repaired homes for a large number of people. In addition, the small donations that you were talking about earlier have often gone to fix a roof, do some mold abatement.
Buy appliances.
Texas Ramp Project has come down and assisted some people who had gotten other help in getting handicap access. So there are other programs going on But the
Habitat.
big one is Hope Hill.
Yes, sir.
You could maybe contact those Samaritan and tell him, say, look, we sure would like to buy some houses for these folks that's still in the motel.
But why can't we do what we're proposing?
It takes 3 or 4 years to build.
My lord, you can buy it's gonna cost you.
But what houses? Do we have the houses available? Do we have the houses available where these people can afford? Tell me yes. Tell me yes.
On my list right now that we.
Homes that are under $100,000. Is there enough to move all of those people affected into homes under $100,000? Because that's where the affordability is where they needed it to be.
I think that
How many are you talking
I
about?
think that we're talking about the original mission of your organization, right?
Mhm.
And I'd like to read the mission statement right here of your organization, because I think that will help clarify and answer a lot of the questions that a lot of you are asking, okay? So you all set up the Grange Area Disaster Recovery Team on September the 25th, 2017. You set up bylaws. And I'm going to just read Article 2. The second part of Article 2 states, the purpose of the corporation, that's you, shall be to assist individuals and families with recovery from natural or man-made disasters in the area of LaGrange, Texas. Now, semicolon, more specifically, to rebuild and repair homes affected by disasters and to provide for any other unmet needs for uninsured or underinsured low-income individuals and families.
Mhm.
So we sought an opinion from an attorney, the Attorney General's office. How many other organizations? 2 or 3? Couple, okay. But anyway, the consensus is that this mission statement states that you are rebuilding or repairing homes.
Mhm.
And unmet needs.
Yes.
Mhm.
And this doesn't really seem to include just going off on another tangent and providing for other low-income people.
We're not providing for low income. We're providing affordable.
It says.
Affordability.
But it says, and basically, I think that's one and the same. I
No, it's not.
that we can say that.
It's not.
Right, it is in the mission statement, but I think that's caused a lot of confusion in
Mhm.
the community. We want you all to know that, because what started off as helping Harvey victims specifically
Mhm.
has now turned into another project married to the Harvey Victim Project
Mhm.
to assist people who are low income, and that's in your mission statement right here, low income or affordable housing. So some of us feel deceived. We feel deceived because you started with one mission and now your mission is completely.
But we
something
haven't.
else.
We are still doing exactly what our mission states. We are helping people on a daily basis
We
repair their homes.
Oh, absolutely. We understand
But we're
that.
looking for the future. We're looking at the future.
But you have yet to admit that the future does not involve people that have been affected by a natural disaster.
How is it not? How does it not? We have 25 people still living in FEMA trailers. We are going to have to, it's our response, it's not your responsibility or anybody in this room. It's our responsibility to make sure that these people, once they're kicked out by FEMA, because they have no place to go, that we're responsible for finding them some temporary housing until the homes in Hope Hill are built.
We understand that they're timing out of the FEMA program,
Mm-hmm.
or they're aging out, or whatever you want to call it. We get it. We've done our homework, and we understand that those people are going to need another situation. But you have plans to build 70-plus homes
No.
in the Hope Hill development. Well, then why are you all promoting that? Because everywhere that we look, it's all
I have the plans right there. There's 60 lots.
60. Well,
60 lots.
But you're saying that 25 people, what did Capcom
Yeah,
say?
at the blog, is there were only 21 people in the FEMA.
Okay, so because they're kicking them out every 2 weeks.
No, they just
So we
started
have
serving
people that have moved because of the lack of affordable housing here in LaGrange and Fayette County They have moved to Bastrop County. They have moved to Lee County. They have moved to Colorado County. And they have already been placed on the Hope Hill clientele list because they're planning on selling their property there and moving back to LaGrange because they didn't want to leave LaGrange. But we left them no option. We left them no option because instead of people opening up their homes, their spare cabins, their whatever it may be, or their rental property, they hiked up the rental properties, they closed their doors, and these people had nowhere else to go.
People have gone back to the areas where they live because those areas have been reopened. And
May I point out that when this property was purchased, Colorado Landing was still for sale, hoping that one day someone might clean it up and buy it.
Right.
No one knew what any for certain future was. And so this was the plan that was decided. The only thing holding back families finding safe, secure, affordable housing was dirt. That's the only thing in this whole town holding anybody back is dirt. So we found a group willing to purchase that dirt so that instead of that group buying 270 more trailers, so they could flood again in 200 years and be a true waste of money, that money would be spent once relocating those families permanently out of the flood
We
zone.
understand all of that. We completely understand that. But you have to understand from our point of view that what started off as one thing has now kind of turned into something else.
Okay, so you see this new person coming in, buying the property, opening up Countryway Village, and all of that. So here's what here's what they're going to do. They're going to offer you a 2-bedroom, 2-bath mobile home for $1,000 a month if you buy it. $1,200 a month. These are numbers that came directly from the gentleman that I talked to on the phone. He called me and said, hey, let me hook your people up. And I was so excited because maybe they would come in, it would be low income again. But here we go. 3-bedroom house, if you buy it, it's $1,200. $1,500 if you rent it. How is that affordable? Because you know what he has to do? He has to put slabs in there to bring those homes up to meet the level, and he has to include that cost into his rental or his purchase price. How is that bringing anything affordable to our community?
Can you explain something though? How will a home in the Hope Hill Subdivision with the mortgage payment, is that correct?
Nope.
People will be paying a mortgage.
If
That's where this is not like anything like Habitat for Humanity.
So let me tell you about Hope Hill. Let me tell you about Hope Hill.
Okay.
Because everybody has assumptions on what's going on with Hope Hill. Let me just tell you real quick.
They will have expenses related to their home there.
So with Hope Hill, we have people that are coming and doing the labor for free. The people that are going to be moving into those homes, their FEMA money that they've held on to is going to provide those materials that those people are going to do for free.
In some of those,
In the ones that the labor is provided for free through MDS. Let's talk about MDS houses. So hold on just a second. I'm going to tell my whole story and then you can ask me questions.
Yeah.
So MDS houses, the land will be deeded to the person outright. It will be.
Let me ask a question because we need to ask questions while you're talking.
Okay.
Okay, you're saying the land is going to be deeded at that time. Okay, is that upon completion of the home, the land will be deeded?
Before.
20 years down the
Before.
road? Or-
Before. So let me tell you. Before any construction begins with MDS, the property will be deeded to the person whoever owns the home. The house will be constructed. Whatever funds that they have, whether it's insurance money or FEMA money, must go into that because that's what they mandate to purchase a new home.
So are you saying that they will be purchasing the lot?
No.
Yes.
So if required by law, if there's a fee that's required to purchase it, that money, if it's $10, $1, whatever it's going to be, will then be transferred into an escrow account that will hold their fees for taxes and insurance.
Okay, well, why were you all advertising at the Fayette County Fair this year that you were selling lots in the Hope Hill Subdivision?
Because once we have closed our disaster out, and if there are lots available, we will sell them. We will sell them, we will turn around and use that money to build another home to help someone in need. We will take that money and use it for other needed items, repairs, houses, maintenance, whatever it may be.
Right.
We will,
Speaking of maintenance, who's planning to maintain this ad infinitum? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now?
we will have a homeowners association that if any of the properties within Hope Hill are included in a land trust, which I know everybody's scared of land trust,
So
but
you're saying that
if
this is going to be a land trust?
it will be lot by lot. If a person comes in, and it will be case by case, if a person comes in and they are unable to maintain the property taxes. Let me first of all tell you what the land trust is, because everybody has this misconception of what the land trust is. So the land trust, it will remain in FCDRT's name on a 99 or so year lease, 100-year lease. And with that land trust, we are able to cap the valuation of the property.
And
Which,
that's part of the problem.
how is it? How is it? Because we are able to cap the taxes, so these low-income people don't have to pay astronomical taxes?
But they're not able to enjoy the appreciation and value
No.
of that
Do you know
property.
anyone?
Do you know what a valuation is? A valuation
Because
is
I've
what
met
you're taxed
really nice
on.
Communities that absolutely love living in a land trust because it beats living in a slum.
Land trusts are new in the United States.
Land trusts have been around since
They are new in this
1964. I'll
concept
send
in
you
the
a
United
Google
States.
Okay,
Not
you're
being-
both-
Okay, gentlemen, please, one at a time, one at a time.
I've asked a question because the traditional definition of land trust, no one owns or has title to their property within that trust subdivision. Now,
No.
that is,
And see, that's your misconception, because we're doing it lot by lot. So the person that comes in and is an elderly person and has a fixed income, and 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they can't afford the astronomical increase. Did everybody get their tax statement this year? Mine went up 10 grand. Did anybody else go up high?
We older people have ours.
Oh, you have yours fixed. Okay. So, okay, well then let's talk about a single mom then, since there's a fix. Let's talk about a single mom who is working 2 jobs and we're trying to help her out and we put her in a house. And she can only afford so much for taxes. So if we cap that 5 years, 10 years, when now she's paying for her kids' college, those taxes she's still taxed on that same valuation, to where she can afford to then send her kid to college and afford to keep her home, and she doesn't have to choose between one or the other.
and because of your explanation, that causes there to be a tax burden placed on someone else within the city of LaGrange or possibly the
How?
county. And you do understand that when you do have a community land trust set up, that the local government needs to be on board with that and approve that because of that very thing that you stated, that taxes.
But they're still paying the taxes on their home,
Taxes are.
on their home, on the home itself.
But you're
Doesn't
keeping
matter.
the
How is there's no-
property values low on those homes.
That's
They don't
fine.
appreciate like
That
other
is
homes.
what.
Then it will keep all of yours.
And what
It
about
may
the
drop them a
children
little
that live
bit.
in those homes, because a lot of children are going to be living in those homes, and what about the school taxes?
The
Who's
school
going to be paying
taxes,
the school
who is
taxes?
going to make up for that?
Okay,
And
so
also-
do y'all know how much the city gets for taxes and their, all of the different percentages?
No, in fact, most people in here are probably homeowners, so we understand that. But what I'm saying is that those property values are going to be kept artificially low. Well, I've done my homework on community land trusts. I've done a lot of homework in the last few months. It's my understanding that, and it's not maybe, but a community, a city government, county government must be on board with this concept because of those reasons. That's one of the reasons, along with many others. But whenever you all decided to investigate this avenue, and I understand that it might have seemed sort of knee-jerk right after Harvey boom. Within 2 weeks, a nonprofit was set up. We did our homework on that too. It seems the waters had not even hardly receded yet and someone had filed for nonprofit status.
Okay.
Yes, and informed the organization.
Because
Okay, I understand that, but anyway,
Maybe the rest of the audience doesn't
Why?
understand it.
why was the city government, or the county, or the community, or anyone in this room, why were we not invited into this decision early on when it was first taking place? Because this is a huge development, huge, in a city the size of LaGrange and a county the size, the population of Fayette County. So we feel cheated,
Mm-hmm.
and we feel we have lost trust, and we feel that we haven't nearly had all of our questions answered, because if you all had come to the community in the beginning, we probably wouldn't be here right now tonight.
Well,
So-
and the thing is, okay, and I wasn't here then, but they were too busy to come and sit and have meetings with you. Why, when they're here in the homes volunteering, why do we have to sit here and come and ask your permission? Because we're the ones that are actually on the ground doing the work.
Because it's such a huge.
But you know what? Everybody's sitting here, sitting in their living rooms, not contributing to any of the recovery. So you tell me. Okay. So please tell me how you contributed.
One statement right now. My brother's house was demolished from Harvey, okay? He and his wife are still living in a small apartment right now. They do not have a house under construction. I mean, my son's father, house destroyed.
Here in LaGrange?
No, other part, Houston, Brazoria, this affected a lot. LaGrange isn't the only area that's affected.
Right.
But
And
what
so
I'm
this
saying
is our solution. No one in this county came up with any better solution. So you tell me, what is your better solution? What is your better
I
solution?
can't keep my mouth shut anymore.
What is your better solution?
That's all I'm going to say.
Who has the vision for this project?
What is your solution?
I'm
What
asking
is your
the question.
solution?
I've been building technology for disaster relief for 2.5 years.
What is your solution to get people into homes? That's my question. Because that's what we were faced with, was how do we get people into homes?
With me,
Speak and stop talking.
if the disaster relief would have sat down with my team and I, and my team includes people all across the country. Our technology is in Carolina right now, but I can't get LaGrange to use it.
Why aren't they here in LaGrange?
Because
If you have the technology, why didn't you bring it to
I
LaGrange?
did. Joey Melton, Kenny Couch, please.
He has visited the.
I have over 45.
He's visited the recovery team, but did he bring anybody with him to physically do the work
he did.
necessary?
I invested over $250,000 of my own money
But
into this project.
was there a
Have you done
physical
that?
person to come do
Right,
work to
I'm
repair the
frustrated
home?
with this. There's
That's
no-
my
there's no
thing. That's
team.
my thing.
I'm asking,
Everyone
who's the
wants to
vision?
sit here and
Who's
judge
the-
what we're doing
We're not
when we're
judging,
the
we're
ones
asking to help.
actually
Nobody's letting us
doing.
help.
Right.
We're
We're
asking to help.
actually doing the work. So come, get your boots on and come help me
That's
hang
not my
sheetrock.
skill set. My
I'll
skill
teach
set is-
you. I'll teach you.
I don't need you to teach me. Marsha.
Okay.
This is-
Yes, let's move on, yes.
You asked me, what have I donated? We have asked for the financial records and the books of the Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Open records. 3 times we have been denied. When Fayette County Disaster Recovery.
How were you denied? I gave him a copy.
Let me
I'm talking about-
chime in here. I want to go over some
I defer
stuff.
to Mr. Darnell.
Who's the board members here?
I'm one.
Because there's been some
Well,
stuff going
while you're
on.
passing that out, bottom line is, you've been sitting on $2.5 million for a year. That could have been used.
We received the money in March. Just to specify, that's when we received the money. March of 2018. So it's not a year.
I want to go over some things that have been going on, because most of y'all aren't going to know about this. I filed a public information act.
Introduce yourself.
Ma'am, I'm Ken Darnell, I'm a member of the Grange Citizens Alliance.
Speak up, too.
Okay, on July the 5th, I filed a Public Information Act request with the Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team. If for any communication between the city, FEMA, Fayette County, etc. And they're supposed to respond within 10 days for Attorney General's opinion if they think they're exempt. Well, they never responded, and Joy Cameron signed this in person, her signature's on here. Then the Texas Attorney General sent them a letter on September 17th stating they're in violation, that they never asked for an opinion from the Attorney General. So I don't know what's happened on that. Then I've got here on July 17th, August 17th, we requested to examine their books that's provided under the Texas Business Organizations Code, Chapter 22.353. And they've never given us access to their books. So what are they hiding? I mean, I talked to Marcia on about September the 8th. She called me when she got the letter. And her words were that there was a lady in there, she was trying to help her, and getting these letters was an inconvenience. And she told me that when she came on the board, the books were in disarray. Well, in her letter back to me, she wanted 30 days before we could get any of the records I requested. And she sent me by email 4 or 5 documents, 2018 budget, I think, and a couple other things. But by law, we have the right to see the books, so why can't we see them? That's the question.
So,
Could I respond to
And,
two
Sure.
things that?
feel free.
Maybe I could respond to two things that you mentioned, Ken. One is the public information
Right.
data, okay? That relates to governments, not to
Well,
private.
but if y'all are exempt, which you possibly
No, it's
are.
not that we're exempt. The exemptions in that relate to if, for example, the city council, which is subject to this, has a executive session over a personnel issue, that matter is exempt
Right.
from it.
Right, I
Okay?
agree.
It doesn't have anything to do with whether the organization is exempt.
Well, some nonprofits are totally exempt.
Well, all nonprofit. It only relates to governments.
If you get
okay?
government funding, you.
No, it relates to government agencies. So anyway, that's the first part. The second part is, and that was what you were, I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're exempt.
That we are a nonprofit, so
Sure.
we are subject to nonprofit rules.
Okay,
And
but
we
you
are
still, you
indeed.
still have to ask for an Attorney General's opinion, and that was in my letter. Yes, you do. Yes,
Well,
you do.
okay.
Why would you not?
That's the way the law reads. That's
Okay.
in there.
I need to ask him
And
for
the
opinion
second-
on
The
what.
second point is,
Attorney General's
you're asking
opinion on
for
why you're
certain
exempt.
things, specifically your records, financial records, okay? And that is made available there, it's online, it's available
Well,
to
sure, it's
anybody.
online,
It's
but
not
that's
official.
that's
It's
not
not
the
No,
same.
okay, I understand that issue about the official.
Official.
And I understand that. But if what you're looking for is data, the information, the information's there. If you're looking for form, correct form,
No,
then
we'd
that's
like
a
to see the
different issue.
complete books, and can we go in and schedule an appointment? That's what we've been trying to do, to schedule an appointment with y'all's office to view the books. So can that?
I
be
will
done?
provide you a copy of of the books at any point in time.
Oh, very good.
So we can come there and watch it
So
run
we can
along.
come there this week?
Yeah. I mean, it's a QuickBooks program, folks.
Okay.
Everything goes in, everything comes out the same program, and so does the report. The report takes all of 2 seconds. That's what I printed here. We have nothing to hide. You know, when I started, people were like, oh my goodness, but funds have gone missing and this and that, because
Really?
we didn't know. But in going through every single penny of FCDRT, I can tell you that there was no misuse, misappropriation of funds whatsoever.
Who owns the property at 861 South Reynolds?
Say that again?
Who owns the property where the Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team?
Joy and Steve Cameron own the property at 861 South
Do they
Reynolds.
get any rent for that?
They get no rent. They pay the we pay the utilities. They get no rent. They get no anything
Then what's in
whatsoever
the
from it.
2018 budget you sent me that shows $12,500 in rent on the building? Where's that
That's
go?
utilities.
Rent on the building, that's utility?
That was
No,
under
that's for-
rent.
That's for utilities.
And then there's a $25,000 in-kind contribution to join her husband? What's that about?
That's a
under what?
contribution that they gave to us.
That's in, yeah, for.
That's what they've
in-kind.
given to us in use of their building. That's what they could have rented that building for. So
Okay.
they gave us that.
And that's normally deducted on your federal taxes, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yes.
if you want to.
I would hope.
My interest is mainly Samaritan's Purse.
Sure.
And I would like to know what connection there is between this Mennonite Disaster Services and Samaritan's Purse. And I would like to know, you say that they're doing this free. Well, I mean, you don't live on air. Somebody backs these Mennonites. Is it just the Mennonite Church? Is it Samaritan's Purse? How are they funded day
Okay.
to day that
Okay.
they are able to just?
Very good question. So MDS, being a nonprofit organization, can go out and apply for grants. Same as I. I can go and apply for grants. So 90-something% of their people that come are volunteers. They pay their own airfare. If they come from Canada, they come on their own dime. I go on a missionary trip to West Texas every summer. I pay $250 to go. They pay their own money to get here. They're not paid.
Well, how do they get the money to pay for the flight is what I'm saying. If all they do is go around doing.
No,
free
they
flights-
No. Those people are volunteers.
Yeah,
They're not
They're
MDS
themselves.
people.
I
They're just
understand what you're
volunteers.
saying. I've worked with Midnight Disaster Services after the Bastrop fires extensively. They come in except for a handful of professionals. I mean, literally 3 or 4 people. The crews are here for a month, back to their regular jobs. This is how they spend their vacation, is on their mission.
Yeah, it's you and
So they
I.
bring their own money that
We
they've
just go out
earned
and
during the
do
year
volunteer
to the effort. Midnight Disaster Services is really big. They've been doing this for a while. They got a lot of people, so they can bring in a number of construction crews, work them for a month, send them home, bring in a whole nother bunch the next month, send them home, and then they just rotate them in and out like that on construction efforts for relief.
Here's the other thing. My understanding was that Mennonite Disaster Services contacted Samaritan's Purse, and it was their influence that got the money, the $3 million. Now, I may or may not be right on that, but may I make another comment? You keep talking about helping these flood victims. It's all out of proportion to what's left over now. I mean, people have had to make some kind of arrangements by now. There can't be that many people left, and by the time y'all are able to get this thing going, I mean, you just don't build a house overnight, trust me.
Right, right.
that.
So there are people
They're
still
not gonna-
in
they're not gonna
motels.
help if they haven't gotten it somewhere else. This is a whole different thing in my view.
Right.
I don't see it as just flood victim.
Well, you know, the major thing is there is a huge lack of affordable property. So I'm going to tell you this. I have seen so many clients come in and they come to us with a piece of paper. It's the MDS listing off of the website saying, oh, look, I found me a house. I found me a house. It's affordable, $75,000. It's one small city lot and a house that should be bulldozed. Not something that they can simply move into and cook supper and here we go with our life. These homes that are being sold, I'm sorry, these clients of ours are getting raped by citizens of LaGrange because exactly, that's what it is. So you tell me, would you drop your property or would you raise it? If you had an available piece of property, would you drop it or would you raise it?
Okay,
This is opportunity for you to gain some more money.
You're talking about your clients. Do you have a list of people?
I'm one.
Okay, you're one. You're one.
My dad and stepmom's gonna got a house.
Okay, but do you have a list somewhere of everyone that you have helped and that you intend to help? Because the ones that you have helped, they don't count anymore as far as that goes. I mean, that's a future thing.
So we
who
have,
are you-
yes.
Who do you propose to put in these places? Do you have such a list of your
So we
clients?
have 150 and we just counted them the other day because I had to do a data pool. 150 open files. 150 open files. Now we have transferred We have transferred a couple over to Rio, Texas. These two ladies right here we have additional case managers within the Fayette County area, and we have transferred a couple to them, but that's around the area that we're at.
Now, all these people, these hundreds of some odd people, whatever it is, are they people that actually lost property and owns here? Are they people that just want some property here?
They are people that either owned or rented, and everything that they owned, all their worldly possessions, were washed away.
Well, I understand that. If y'all have read the paper, I'm sure you have, Larry.
Any of y'all driven down?
Well, just a minute, lady. Our family was wiped out when we were kids.
I'm sorry,
We
what?
lost everything in a fire. We had nothing. My mother.
So you know it's like to start over with
Yes, and we
nothing.
did it ourselves. We had nothing. My mother had to go out, we had the clothes on her back. She had to escape the fire with no shoes on. She had to borrow shoes to go out and buy one outfit for each of us so that we could wear one and wash one. I'm not saying that these people don't deserve some help, but I think that it's just gotten totally out of proportion. I mean, all this stuff about the taxes, we're talking about these kids going to school and there's gonna have to be additional taxes for these kids to school. Are we all supposed to subsidize them, without even, I mean, charity is one thing, but when you're forced into it through your taxes, it's not charity anymore. It's confiscation.
And let me speak to for Rio, Texas, we're part of the Methodist Church, and through the federal program, DCMP, the Disaster Case Management Program, we have 2 dedicated case managers for Fayette County. That doesn't include the case managers that the long-term recovery group has the ability to hire. They could hire 20 of them, they could hire 30 of them, however many they can afford. So the thing is, the more case managers that we have, the more people we can help, and the sooner that we can help them. In Fayette County, with that registered FEMA applicants that were all valid was over 1,100. So the thing is, in Fayette County, there were over 1,100 people who applied for FEMA. They would have been renters and homeowners. They could have done either. The thing is, we know for a fact that there are people who didn't apply for FEMA. If you had insurance, FEMA automatically denied you. I supervise over 10 counties, from Victoria all the way up to here. So the thing is, pretty much that's the same as far as how FEMA operated throughout all these counties. The majority of the counties that we're talking about are rural counties. So the thing is, they all have the same issues. They all have issues with a lack of affordable housing. So when people lost, and Harvey did things nobody else did. No storm has ever done what Harvey's done. In different parts up here, along from Caldwell all the way to Colorado County, the river was the biggest part. The floods got a lot of people. But you still have people that experience direct impact from the hurricane that actually damaged roofs, and then you had your interior damage from there. So the thing is, we've seen tornadoes, we've seen direct impact from the hurricane itself, and we've seen flooding, depending on where you were. All those things have contributed to some of these folks' houses. You're right, they were old houses, but Harvey damaged them so to the point where it made a lot of people. There are still people living in things that have mold, never been taken care of, still all the year after.
And your services are offered here in LaGrange?
Yes, ma'am. The
And
thing
your
is,
offices are?
our office is over in the Methodist Church in over
St.
on,
James.
St. James United.
Yes, ma'am.
And St. James.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So the thing
St.
is-
James United
so-
Methodist Church.
So we have 2 case managers, they have 2 case managers. We're dealing with potentially hundreds of cases for Fayette County.
And really, I mean, the process of I'm Vicki McCush, I'm at the Rio Texas Conference and have worked in multiple disasters. The process of long-term recovery takes years. People without resources, they suffer and they live and they do the best that they can. And these resources come in from around the country. NDS comes in, the Methodist Church through UMCOR comes in. We are doing our best to partner with your local community to help these folks recover, but it is not a quick process. And in the 14 counties that we're working on Harvey recovery, we anticipate to be working for at least 2 to 3 years. helping people to rebuild and repair their homes.
And there's so many duplications of
No,
services.
that is the part of case management.
I
Case
wanted
management
to
addresses
What I
duplication.
wanted to say is that there are so many duplications of services
In
that
what way?
often people who need the help the most are confused by the different agencies.
Okay, well, the thing is, the great thing about this process is that we all use the same database. And so while they use CAN, the federal database that we use ties into that. So if they have a case and we go in and look it up, we can see, oh, Ms. Jones, you have a case already.
That's good. That's
And
a
so
good
the thing is, so that way there's not a duplication of
Well,
services.
that's a
or
good
benefits.
thing.
So the
It's
thing is,
against the law for us to duplicate benefits.
Yes.
Well, that's good to know, because the taxpayers are paying for it.
I'm gonna interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do y'all actually do for people?
well, case managers, basically what we do is we partner. We're not caseworkers, so we don't go out and do work for you. So the thing is, as a case manager, we actually partner with people who are in need of lots of different things. Advocacy with FEMA, trying to find whatever resources are potentially out there. If they can potentially get a loan somewhere, if they had insurance money.
Have you met Kyle yet?
I haven't met Kyle yet, but the thing is. if
Kyle's
you-
probably the only one here that's actually lost something in Harvey, that lost his
I
house.
think she just said she did.
Yes.
I'm deaf anyway.
And they have, their cases
But
have been addressed.
And so, like I said, the thing is, if there are people who have not opened a case, if there are people who open a case with long-term recovery, they need to see them about their case. If they haven't opened a case yet, we're more than happy to open a case for them, so that way we can talk to them about what resources they had, what they were able to do. So basically, a lot of what we do is see what people have already done, and then figure out what's still out there for them to access.
I have 2 employees that lost their house in Harvey, and they say it's too complicated dealing with
And that's why
all
we
those
advocate.
different people.
The other thing is, I mean, that's why we advocate, because it can be confusing. Right now, a year after Harvey, people are angry, people are depressed, people have been spending money on, am I gonna buy a sheet of sheetrock, or am I going to buy food or my medicine? The thing is, people are at that point now, and we understand that.
Have you ever heard of them, Kyle?
Well,
Then
we
how-
only-
Come
we
here.
only-
They've only been here
Somehow
a
or
very
another,
short
y'all
time.
need to get that out to me
Right.
right now.
Well, we have been partnering with Fayette County and have been sending volunteers here to work in the recovery effort. But this federal grant is new, and it just started with us on May 3rd. And so we are just now kind of planting case managers in this county, and we are required to do that through the federal grant that we are under.
So you're saying this paperwork is tying all this up?
No, we have
It's
been,
taking how long?
I
We
mean,
haven't done
that's
anything
the
yet for
federal
people
process.
that need housing.
But the thing is, but we have been, but we also, our case managers, because they're from here, they've been going out and flyering. So the thing is, they've been letting people know for the past couple of months that we're here.
You have federal grant money that's available somehow or another.
No, that federal grant money is paying for our case management staff. We have private funding that we can, through our case management process, also help people repair and rebuild their homes.
Where does that money come from?
That comes from multiple grant sources, from the United Methodist Church, UMCOR. We are receiving funding from the Red Cross, and we're also receiving funding from Rebuild Texas.
Which, and I've asked the question several times, the LaGrange Housing Authority, how come we don't expand on that? We already have it.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with
Yeah,
that.
we have nothing to do with
I
that.
realize that you're not involved with it, but why don't we use some of that?
Well,
We
but
have-
that's a.
Because again, that's section 8, and we need more affordable housing than low-income
But I
housing.
will say the
That
thing
would
is,
be,
that there is money through the GLO that can be used to deal with infrastructure things. That would be
who do
something,
we get to go talk
your
to?
city council. The thing is, that would be your
Well,
city government, your city and county governments that would be.
I brought
The
that up to
housing
them,
authority
but they
said
don't.
the federal government has no plans to extend.
But what I'm saying is that any of that kind of money, those would be decisions that would have to be made through the city and county
Right, but
government. So the
but
thing is, that would be something.
Housing authority does not plan to expand their existing facilities, period.
And like I said, and that's, I mean, the thing
Why-
is,
why
we
do we
just look
still
at them
have
as a resource, not as.
That is out of our control and out of our scope, so I'd like to continue
You're talking
with this lady in the
affordable
back.
housing. That's what we have now, but shouldn't we use more of it? Shouldn't we be talking to the, whoever's controlling that money?
Yes, you definitely can. You definitely can.
Government program, they
Certainly.
certainly. Well, I'm sorry.
But they have no availability.
I think there's a difference between.
Yes, ma'am, in the back.
I have a name of a victim.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you
Sorry,
write
Carl.
a check? Or they can start getting into a home?
Okay, so within case management, they have to come to us. They have to provide us with information. Number one, I need to know that they were a true flood victim because I have people coming from Schulenburg, from Muldoon that had no damage at all, but they're coming to me and saying, "Oh, my house flooded. Can you give me money?" Okay, that's fraud. When our funds are specifically to support the recovery of Hurricane Harvey, we have to do our due diligence to make sure that that's exactly what we're doing. That these people that we have coming into our office are truly flood survivors, that they truly cannot help themselves, that they need to partner with us. So this is a partnership that we do with each other. It's not us rebuilding their entire house. It's a partnership. We're working together. They come to us and say, okay, I need this. We reach out to our resources. If we have grant money, I'm applying for grants all the time. So if I get a grant and I have the available funds to put towards it, definitely we can talk about it. But if they come to me and say, I need $70,000 to fix my house, I'm going to say, whoa, we need to stop and we need to talk about this and see where we can pull other resources. We have only been in existence for a year. There are grants out there that require you, such as the Red Cross grant, it was $500,000, that you be in existence for 3 years. We were denied. So in that, we lost out on the grant. But I'm still continuously applying for grants in order to provide that repair money.
Can I get your phone number so they can call me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, definitely. I have cards.
Can I
Yes,
ask a
sir.
question?
Yes, ma'am.
If all of this money was designated to help the people who lost their homes in Harvey, and you know who those people are, why not just divide that money up among these families and let them build their own homes?
Well, because we, again, in the conversation that I was not a part of, but at that table, they said, if we give you the money, this is what we want. We want you to purchase a piece of property to move those people somewhere else. It is a gift, but it's a word. It's me telling you that I'm going to use my $8 for this specific thing. And
or can you go back and talk to them and say, we've decided we don't want to do it that way?
we've already purchased the property, so I have no option. I've already paid to have our...
Sitting on $2.5 million.
I mean, that would go a long way toward helping these people get in a home right now.
Be about $2,500 a person.
Okay, so we could do about $2,500 per person, and I don't think that would fix not even one room.
$2,500?
If we divide it evenly, like you just said, 1,100 flood victims.
How many need homes?
If we start dividing up and handing out checks, I bet a whole lot of them sit.
How many are needing homes right now? Like, well, what's our scope? Like, that's the problem.
Okay, so you have your 20 plus people in Hope Hill. You have, let's see, outside of the county that have already said that they, so we have people.
So wait, 20. What's out?
So we have, you have 10 families in hotels, you have another 60 families living with friends and family. So there you go, there's Hope Hill right there.
And you have a list of these 70 people's names?
Yeah.
and would be willing to provide that?
No, no, there is no way you can ever get any information on our clients. That's extremely confidential.
Well, I just asked, I didn't know.
No, I'm just saying. Yes, sir.
Grange Citizens Alliance. We have a number of lots that are empty in town. There's like 300 something like that lots in LaGrange that don't have houses or could have a house built on them. Would it not be less expensive and better expenditure of this money that was set forth for these flood victims to get Samaritan's Purse money with Habitat for Humanity and people who are going to volunteer time
Yeah.
and volunteer materials, or buy the materials with this $3.5 million or the 2.5 that you have left to build houses and get people into homes now, and you don't have to put in infrastructure for water, you don't have to put in infrastructure for electrical, you don't have to put in infrastructure for gas, you don't have to put in infrastructure for roads, you don't have to worry about drainage, and you don't have to worry about sewer. You build a house and you can connect it to the existing utilities.
So in the end, it's all the same. Because we've contacted multiple people. We've actually taken the time to drive around town and to look at vacant lots, vacant homes, and we've contacted the owners. I have a gentleman that wants $45,000 for a regular sized lot. Okay? So, but then you put a house on it. So our houses are running $60,000. So that's $100,000. $100,000 per home.
If you found 30 lots that people are willing to donate to flood relief, I can get people to build houses on it. I've got volunteers, I have groups that come in.
There might be some people we could get a hold of that would come down the price, but at the same time, the world we live in says that because of this situation, wherever it's at on the globe, this piece of property is worth X amount of dollars. So that's where I was coming from.
Right.
I understand.
Right. And I completely understand, but because of the current demand on the property, people are not willing. I negotiated for 30 minutes the other day, could not get the guy to budge. He wanted to walk away from the table, not even including closing costs, which, if you pay a cash deal, it's minimal, but he wouldn't go any less than that price, walking away with that cash, because he knows, people know that we have a shortage of properties and they want to take advantage of it.
So you have tried to purchase lots?
I have tried to negotiate on behalf of the client.
Okay.
What
Do you
was
have
it
a broker? Do you have a real estate broker?
We did have one on our board, but she resigned.
Someone who is a professional to actually do this.
We did, but she resigned.
It just brings something to mind in my head. First of all, I'm just curious as to, Mr. Jackson, you don't live in the city, is that?
That's correct. I live up on the bluff.
You live on the bluff.
Right.
And Mr. Heath, you live?
I live in Carmine, or near Carmine.
You live in Carmine, so
Right.
you do not live in LaGrange.
That's right.
And Mr. Frenzel lives in Walhalla, and Ms.
Right.
Carlin, is that her name?
Martyr.
Cameron? Joy Cameron?
Well,
Carol Martyr?
Yes. And she lives,
Brown Top, maybe?
so.
A-Strike lives in town.
A-Strike lives in town.
Yes, Mr. A-Strike.
He lives up in that area.
There's none of you guys that are actually citizens
So
of
we have
LaGrange?
one board
I live in
member,
LaGrange.
and director that actually resides within the city of LaGrange, is that correct?
I think that's right.
Sir?
I believe that's correct.
Okay, I just wondered. It just seems to me, with all of the confusion and everybody trying to do this and everybody trying to do that, would Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team ever consider going into receivership, bringing in a professional organization to do this, to complete the mission?
Okay.
And to take it into a receivership. And that is a business-like,
It's an interesting suggestion.
okay,
If we could find the funding.
No, I mean,
Keep in mind, and they
doesn't
just
take any
drive
money.
it
a
uphill, like,
receivership.
That's
A
an interesting.
lot of people know what it is, and it's sometimes when people are getting a divorce, and there are a lot of assets, and they can't decide who's going to get what, or sometimes in the case of bankruptcy, assets go into a receivership. and bankers, lawyers, people who are professionals.
Are not
actually-
capable of making decisions,
Exactly.
either physical
That's
or mental problems.
That's true. So I'm just.
That would be a board decision and we could, you know, I
I'm
can
just
take that to
throwing
the
it out
board.
there to you.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you're not getting paid. I don't imagine you're getting paid. to
No,
keep the heat
our board
down.
is volunteers.
Right.
We're
Yes,
not
ma'am.
taking any heat.
Well, you know what?
We're-
We are.
Well,
And Mr. Heath, if you are really concerned about the footprint that this is going to put on the city of LaGrange forever, you would be feeling the heat. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I thought you meant, when I feeling the heat because of the concern of people in this room.
No.
What you're saying is that if I were contiguous to this property.
No, that is not what I mean.
Okay.
I am talking about the footprint that this is going to put on the city of LaGrange, the school district, the county, forever. That's what I'm talking about. Larry.
Yeah, I certainly think that we do indeed feel that. I don't know why anybody, unless they've just got a mark on their forehead that says, I'm stupid, would get involved in this. But several of us have. And I think the only reason is because we are concerned about the future of our community and the footprint that this will occur. You and I have talked about this a little bit at city council and so on. And I've told numerous of you, the only reason I got involved is to try to make a better situation out of it.
That's my point,
And I
the
hope,
receivership.
you and I was present when you were talking to the council one evening. And you said, you know, I've learned a lot in this process.
Sure.
I have too. I think that all of us do. I think things change. This is just my view. I think things change, they evolve. You learn about new opportunities and ways that perhaps you can improve things. If I wasn't interested in improving it, I wouldn't have gotten involved at all. I mean, let whoever's doing it, do it. But Bob had some experience that we thought might be helpful. Could he give us some advice and some direction? And so he did. And I appreciate what I hear from you tonight. I don't think any of us are unconcerned about what it will do. How do we get from here to there? I don't know. I haven't got a predetermined concept of how it's going to happen. Is it going to take some help from you?
Outside?
I think so. Yeah, outside, but inside too. I think suggestions, not every suggestion I hear from everybody is helpful, but.
Would you be willing to take my suggestion to the board?
Would I be willing to ask to get the board to consider talking about that? Sure.
To consider going into receivership?
I would, yeah, I will, if I can put it in government terms, I'll bring that up.
Thank you.
I don't know whether that's an answer, but I'm serious as can be in saying, I'm interested in what you think ought to be done. And I understand that, you know, well, I think you ought to just sell the property and let somebody else have it, and you take that money and buy lots all around town.
And that might be what a receivership.
That actually was a question I had too, as I got involved. I don't think that's a dumb idea. I think it's worth talking about.
And it's something that a receivership might entertain.
That might be the vehicle.
That's right.
There's been a lot of talk about different concepts, about land trust and all this sort of stuff.
That is a discombobulation.
It is indeed, and it may not even be what we ought to be doing.
Right, and then you throw on top of it,
You know, that was somebody's idea at some point. But I don't know that that's the way.
Bernie Sanders tried it up in Vermont. I think he got a pretty, old Bernie Sanders?
Yes.
And Vermont has a pretty big one, I think.
well, it worked up there, but if we're not.
I have a question over here.
Sale free.
For the Hope Hill, are the policies already set in place, like what y'all plan it's gonna be, or is it subject to change?
We have our deed restrictions that, I don't have a copy today, but they are in the works. As far as our,
Are you
yes,
talking about the deed restrictions, or are you
Yes.
talking about the plat itself?
No, not the plans,
the deed restrictions, yes, they are still in progress. They are still in
deed-
progress.
Wait just a second.
Yeah, wait a
She's-
second.
I think she's asking what the conditions are for purchase.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, they're not
Yes,
finalized.
correct.
That, well,
Is there a timeframe when it will be finalized?
well, I think that there are two parts to your question, and that, as I understand it. One is there are deed restrictions that will be signed and agreed to by everyone that purchases a lot.
Yeah, I understand,
Okay.
but now y'all have the layout of what y'all plan.
And the second thing is, there may be different ways in which different people, based upon their income
Yes.
and what they bring with them, how that gets translated into their.
And
Yeah.
that will be,
Technically, it's not finalized 100%.
correct. That will be
Is there a
handled,
certain timeframe when it might, it's kind of y'all plan that it will be done, that y'all think y'all have it all agreed upon and all ruled out?
yeah, so
The
each
plan
case,
has to be
each
approved
case,
by the city.
each case is different, each case is different. She's referring to as far as the finances, what they're required to
Selling a lot.
contribute to the home and the deed process and all of that. And so, all of that, once, it is in work, and we're looking to have it, possibly completed at a time of approval.
I understand it's not approved by the city, they have to finalize something first in order to take it.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the city has to vote yes or no, and they can say no.
I just have
But
a
it
question
has
for
to be
Mr.
annexed
Heath,
before that happens.
and Mr. Jackson, because I know you all have not been on board.
Correct.
The entire time, as Ms. Pyle has not
Right.
been on board, but she says it was her vision initially. It was a seminal vision that you had, but you were not part of
Correct,
the actual.
correct. It was well before any of the property was purchased, it was
So
day one.
It was something you had.
Correct.
Independently. What I'm asking is, I find, just from a business and a real estate point of view, it just has astounded me that anyone who purchased this property, whether it be Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team or anybody, would let the front 7 acres get away from them.
I'm sorry, you're talking
And
about
Parish negotiated,
The front 7
Yeah.
acres.
$125,000 for them.
what I'm
That's
saying
sitting
is.
straight the opposite
What I'm
direction.
trying to continually use.
Oh, the additional properties.
Highway 71.
Purchase
Right,
Right by the
purchase
front.
and
right.
not having security on that Highway 71 side. And I have another question. Did Mr. Corish disclose the contamination of arsenic in the soil?
There is no contamination of arsenic. I
Yes.
walked it with the state
We've already had a
myself.
study done, and there's none.
We
We
did
had
not.
a,
You're
Wait,
wrong.
TCEQ did their study,
We
and
know.
it has come back clear.
No, it has
They
not.
did.
You guys
Okay.
look at that,
You
provide
don't-
a dipping bath and test
You don't
the
have
soil
the report
after
yet, do
dipping
you?
bath?
No,
yes, I do.
no, you
You
don't.
do?
Yes.
TCEQ came out,
We did a level 2 study.
and we
then
did a
actually had
phase 1 and a
second
phase
review.
2, and
Just to make sure.
From TTE.
they told
You have that in
Did
TCEQ,
you
yes.
guys find the
You
dipping
have that
bath?
in hard copy?
The dipping what?
Right now?
Dipping bath.
I don't know what
Can
that
you
is.
print that out? for
Oh,
us?
the place where they had the dipping mats, the location,
Did you
guy showed
find
me
it?
where they had been.
Did you find
The guy from the Environmental Quality Board showed it where it had been. Everything tested well within limits, and in fact, most of the property tests below usual background in this area.
When did you receive this report?
Oh, gosh, it's been.
A month ago?
Oh.
And that was the second review after the level 2 that had been done
Yeah.
last year.
No, they've done another study, and that is forthcoming this week.
Okay.
Okay.
That's beyond our knowledge, because they didn't ask to come on the property or anything,
You know,
so.
that's a frightening thing.
Yeah, I
What's
walked
even
it with the
more
state
frightening
guys.
Is that the LaGrange ISD tried to buy that, or would have bought it, had not that bond issue failed.
Yes, Mr. Cornell?
I got a question, is the Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team in compliance with the FEMA short-term housing program?
In compliance with the FEMA short-term housing program? As far as continuing to
That question
create.
doesn't make sense.
I don't,
There are certain parameters you have to follow if you're in the FEMA short-term housing program, they call it, for people that.
so those are for the clients, those are for the clients, and they have to provide that they are working on a housing plan. That's what they have to provide, that's on the client side. We partner with our clients to make sure that they are meeting that.
Well, I've got emails that I saw those records again with the city of LaGrange, between Sean Rayburn and Christy Haddon out of Cape saying y'all are out of compliance and they're serving warning notices already. And I don't have them with me, but I'm glad to get them.
So again, it's not us. The client would be out of compliance because they are not doing what they have asked. The agreement is not between Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team and FEMA for them to live in that house. It is between the client and FEMA. So we have nothing, again, we have nothing to do with that except partnering to try to get them to the recovery plan.
The way the emails read that the Hope Hills mentioned specifically in there that there's no timeline for these people. So under the FEMA program, you got to provide a timeline when we're going to get into a house.
Right, but
And
that's the
why they're
client's
being so
timeline.
smart.
Yes.
That's the
That's
client's
a client.
timeline, not the long-term recovery group. The thing is, when CAPCOG basically act as, they don't do case management with the client. What they do basically is go as property managers to go, and they do this throughout all the counties that somebody's in a FEMA trailer. So like I said, I'm dealing with people in Victoria and Calhoun County that are doing the same thing. The thing is, when they go out and they do an interview with that person, they're not really interviewing them to say, hey, are you doing okay, Mr. Jones, whatever. The thing is, they're going to make sure that their property is secured. So the thing is, the expectation is the client has to actually have some kind of housing plan. If they happen to partner up with somebody doing disaster case management, then that is part of the advocacy of, hey, what are we gonna do? What are you working on? How are we gonna get you into something, secure and safe that is beyond the FEMA trailer? The thing is, there is no, like whether it's Rio, Texas, Fayette County, like I said, it doesn't matter who it is, Catholic Charities, that's not a requirement of the agency, that's a requirement of the client.
From what I've read in there, it sounds to me like, and like I said, I didn't bring it tonight, but that the people that are working through the disaster recovery team, they're not able to tell FEMA, we're gonna be in the house in 6 months because nothing.
Right, and you're right, and the thing is, and that's unfortunate throughout a lot of the counties, because like I said, in our rural counties, the lack of affordable housing has created a big problem. Victoria County is the same thing, Calhoun County, there are no apartments, they're still, in Victoria, we're still at only 30% recovered from all the apartments that were damaged, so people have nowhere to go. So people, the two choices basically that the COG is giving people right now is move in with somebody or get out of the
hotel.
Because there are only 3 people in this area that are still in the hotel, according to their report.
Right, but the thing is, but those people aren't, the thing is, the people she's talking about are people in FEMA trailers. The thing is, that's where if any of the clients that they may or may not have, and the thing is, and clients have to come to us. We can have a list all day long of everybody in Fayette County. The thing is, we can't force people to be in case management. We can flyer, we can go door to door and say, we know that you're on this list. How can we help you? How can we encourage you? And they can say, I'm good. We can't force people to be in case management. We can't force people to have a housing plan. There are always going to be people who can recover on their own, who have resources and family, and there's always going to be people without a safety net. So the thing is, I understand what you're saying about the way it's worded, but the thing is, that wording is incorrect if it's worded like that. If it's saying that Fayette County is in charge of that recovery, that's not true.
Right. So we have, the ones that are waiting for Hope Hill. They are not allowing, even though, we are guaranteeing them a home in Hope Hill, they are not using that as a acceptable housing plan because of the time period. Because it will be a few months before construction starts outside their time period of February 26th of 2019. So that not being acceptable, they want them out now because they don't foresee them having a plan at all.
Okay, I need to say something on that. Okay, I didn't pay my home. I didn't get mine until April, and we get monthly inspections
We have someone from Cat Cog who's taken over now, who come into our home to make sure we're not damaging it. And then they ask us, what is your plan? I've got a letter from them saying that I am working with them on the whole Hope Hill deal. When I first signed my agreement, I was told I had 18 months. When I had my first inspection, I got told, no, you have until February 25th. Now, they come every 3 weeks, and every 3 weeks, provided I pass their questions, I have a place to live. So every 3 weeks, I don't know if I have somewhere to live or not. I am thankful for these guys stepping up and wanting to do stuff for me. Because I guarantee you, none of y'all came out to where I lived at to pick up a piece of trash and help me and say, hey, I've got a room available over my garage so you can have. None of y'all did that. I don't know if any of y'all have ever gone out there to look at these homes, but it's just not the country village that got flooded out. The other side of the river got flooded out as well. They're wanting to help us.
If we were able to
No
find
one
you,
can help.
if we were able to find you a lot, find
An
Mennonites, find,
affordable lot.
absolutely, find people to build this house like Habitat for Humanity. We found this lot. We were able to dig into this $3 million a little bit in order to make it affordable. Can that be an option?
You don't have to go
From what I
talk
understand, that money that they got is to build that community. That
But
So
I was just- I thought
here's the
that too,
thing,
I
here's
thought
the
that
thing,
too, but I
Brandon.
was just told
I'm
that it's
working
not.
on more grants. I'm working on more grants. This isn't just, so when I get more grants, yes, we can do that. There's no problem. But for the time being, we still have people that have their homes on the other side that still need those repairs. Those people actually already own the property. They already have all the hookups. They just need their homes repaired. So instead of taking the time and energy it does to make the pad, do the foundation, build the house, we put that money into the repairs to get those people in. Repairs. Then we start building after that. If I can get this $2 million grant, that opens us wide open. If anybody has deep pockets that is willing to put some money into these repairs to where we can put other money, other directions, you know what? I'm all for it. I am all for any other solution, but no one has brought another solution
Can
to
we
the table.
not, if we have a good solution,
Go into the money, help her.
I'm
Help
sorry?
her buy a lot, help her build a home. She needs a home now.
Well, and that's definitely, I can call Samaritan's Purse and see. But if Samaritan's Purse says that, you know what, I really want you to continue what we originally talked about, my hands are tied.
When are y'all gonna start the first house?
Cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. If everything passes on time and annexation, finals, construction, all of that passes, I would love to see the first houses probably being completed next summer.
Well, aren't there several lots on Horton Street that are already?
No, it's all been
approved through the city?
replatted. It's all been replatted. The entire
So that's not
subdivision.
the same layout as what it was.
When did you guys give your plat to the city? Do you know what day you gave the city your new plat?
The plat,
You said it was replatted?
the plat will be submitted to the city on Monday.
You say it will be?
Yes.
It will be.
It has not been submitted to the city as of yet.
Could I answer?
Sure.
I cannot imagine, and you all are now in a position to be a subdivision developer. I cannot imagine a developer buying a piece of property in anticipation of building somewhere between, I've heard everything from 20 to 90 huts to high rises, without having everything platted and approved by the city prior to purchase. I mean,
In the midst of chaos, you have to do something. In the midst of chaos, you have to find a plan. And the people that were instrumental in starting the Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team, that was the only plan. Because let me tell you, the people that are homeowners, the people that already took their FEMA money and bought the lots, have bought everything that's available.
How much is it gonna cost for the infrastructure for Hope Hill? And how much money will you have left over to actually build houses?
Okay, So we are looking at infrastructure cost at least I believe the figure was $1.25 million.
You can't do it for that.
That's not what.
And
That was-
That's
That's what the
streets,
city
water,
said.
sewer, electric.
That's realistic.
No deal.
Have y'all even thought of the idea of doing infrastructure and then deeding some of the land to Habitat for Humanity to build some houses?
We have given Habitat 2 lots. The deed has not been transferred yet, but we've given Habitat 2.
And then let them build 25 houses, get these 25 people.
That's affordable housing.
Yeah, as soon as we get the infrastructure in, we're building. We're on the,
Baby, how can you deed them lots when you haven't even had the plat approved by the city to divide
because
the
we're,
property?
because I have hope. I have hope in Hope Hill.
Understanding.
I have hope in Hope Hill.
Understanding with.
Who's the MOU with? Who's the MOU with?
It's gonna be a letter of understanding. It's,
Between
to
us and
assure that organization and our organization that should the replating be accepted by the council or the city,
Y'all have accepted that, council?
then, no,
No, it hasn't been presented yet. It hasn't been presented yet.
Should it be, how you say, accepted by the council, well then, they can designate whichever 2 lots they would like habitat.
Can you do something with $2 million?
I sure can.
Yes, sir.
I've got a question.
Sure.
In your 2018 budget, you said you've got mileage for 10 employees at $10,000. Where did everybody go for that? Would you mind elaborating on where they went and how many miles?
I did not create the budget, so I am not sure where those figures.
Well, that ends up being about 2,000 miles per employee. And just for a reference, from Grange to New York is 1,730 miles.
Okay.
That's one
Well-
trip. Now, I don't submit my mileage generally, but I average about 300 miles a day. I cover the entire county wall to wall. I work with clients from Schulenburg all the way up into
Anywhere
Round
in
Top,
Fayette
into
County.
Winchester. But I don't submit my miles. So I won't be part of that budget, but I believe I was intended to be part of that budget. Case managers quite often travel to homes, they travel to training, they travel all as part of their job.
And that's something we want to do, is we want to be able to have our case managers go and visually see the site to make sure that the homeowner is telling us the truth. Because you can pull any pictures offline. You can pull a picture off from Victoria or from Houston and say it's your house. But we want to physically go and inspect the homes. I myself make various trips to Austin, to Bastrop, to meet with different groups and our designer and things like that. And so, it all accumulates over a period of time of a year.
Disaster case managers are required to be out in the field. Like, they have to go to people's houses, they have to go and make sure that construction is being done, that whatever is, so, I mean, like I said, that's a requirement.
Have y'all, do y'all have the concept of the different houses that are gonna be available?
For where?
You mean plans?
Within
You're
Hope
talking
Hill.
about plans, right? They're talking
So,
about plans.
okay, so
What's it gonna look like? Are there gonna be 3 to choose from, or?
No. So it's not gonna be a KB home. It's not gonna be the KB home subdivision. We are going to, we will have our MDS builds scattered throughout. We will have our Habitat Humanity scattered throughout. We will have our private builders,
What is an MDS build?
Mennonites, the Mennonite Disaster Service. We will have them, we don't want the houses to be built, all MDS houses together and all Habitat houses together. We want it to look like a true subdivision. And, and that's our intent, is to scatter,
Today's
and,
subdivision all looks.
and so let me tell y'all this, folks. So in all of this, we're so concerned about the tax burden and the land trust. It may come down to where there's only a few lots that are included in that land trust. It's not going to be the entire subdivision.
How many people do y'all have signed up to actually do it?
Sign up to actually do what?
Build a house?
To build a house, to build a house in Hope Hill? Okay, so are you talking builders? Are you talking clients that want to build?
How many people?
Okay, so right now, we have at least 45 people that have designated Hope Hill as their build site.
How many of them have actually done all the paperwork and have it and you're ready?
We can't do any paperwork until, I mean, all of the people are our clients. They're
Earlier,
all
you
our
said you hope
clients.
to have a house done next summer.
Yes,
When do you didn't answer the question I actually asked.
okay.
When are you gonna start?
As soon as infrastructure is done, we're starting. Whether it's private builder, whether it's Habitat, whether it's MDS. MDS season starts in
After
November.
plat approval, of course.
Exactly.
When are we gonna go for plat approval?
I think she said Monday.
Monday,
Monday?
yes.
I think.
Okay, hold on, right here. It's going to Frank.
This would be
Menifee
the
at the City
preliminary
Hall.
plats filed with the city of LaGrange.
The city.
It will go to Frank.
Can I ask a question about the?
Yes, ma'am.
Stand up.
No, don't stand up. Just talk loud. Just talk loud.
That's fine.
I've seen this map up on the bulletin board.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we have 2 on this side, 3 on this side, and then we will have the one here. So as you want to leave,
Hard to see.
it's
right there on that
they're over
table.
here on the tables.
We'll bring you one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was just completed in the last few days.
And so,
That's prepared by a professional engineer,
yes.
and it's been in process, but we just got that.
Has that engineer been on the property?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they've surveyed
Well,
it.
I'll tell you what, you got a major flaw. The water does not run uphill, and this fishing pond is in the wrong place for where the water runs. The water is running, it's gonna run over on Route, where's Route? Did he leave?
You just walked down.
You talking about runoff?
Yeah, it's gonna run straight on Route. You gotta have to put in another pond. Now, surely an engineer could see.
We've done the
It's an
study.
existing pond.
I don't know what
We've
you're
done the
saying,
study,
water
and
don't
that's
run
the
uphill.
drainage study that was done on the property.
What are the papers they handed out to address that?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick question here. I appreciate the answers, question and answers.
Yes, ma'am.
Who answered this question? You did.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I see here on number 2 that the Fayette County Disaster Recovery Team is not required to seek input from LaGrange citizens.
Correct.
That's interesting that you're not required to, but I would think that since it's going to affect us so much, that you would want to.
Well, and folks, the fear is that this is going to affect you. And I really truly honestly feel that when it's all said and done, there will be nothing left to fear. There will be nothing left to fear. There will be no tax burden that you have to take upon yourself. There will be, all of these fears that you have will be resolved when the process is finished. And that's what my hopes are.
I have a question concerning the questions.
Okay?
We talked about the answers, but the questions you say are from the Grange Citizens Alliance. I was the editor for those questions.
Okay.
And a lot of these questions are not as I edited them, so I'm just saying these are.
That is what the city of LaGrange
Well, the city
gave
of
me.
LaGrange and whoever construed these questions and manipulated them into a fashion that was not as represented in the newspaper and before city council. So
Okay.
I'm telling you that as the
Okay.
editor of these questions, that these are not as they
Yes.
were.
And I understand.
Also, I want to say that in June,
Mhm.
at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church, I was there along with a standing room crowd of only, and Joy Cameron noted that this was a land trust, and the land trust owned the 22.95 acres, and there was no land for sale. So during the interim, and I would say within the last 45 days, there has been a change in direction
Yes.
with your organization
Yes.
to allow land to be sold,
Yes.
and this was made known to us at the Fayette County Fair.
Okay.
When y'all passed out those
Yes.
little cards saying land is for sale.
Yes.
That's the first time we've heard it. A
Okay.
community land trust cannot go into existence, you can't apply for it until after January 2019. So that's the first time that you can make application via the appraisal district and then for certification to the city council of LaGrange, with annexation probably
Okay.
have been receiving that. So I'm just pointing out that, you know, we have been made known by your executive that this is a community land trust. There is no land for sale. All of a sudden, land is for sale. I doubt very much that in a community land trust, you can sell lots on an individual basis. I've not read that yet, and I've been doing my study as well, but I'm gonna do my homework and
Okay.
find out if you can, because if you can't, then y'all got a real conflict here.
Okay.
And what happens to all those Harvey flood victims that Joy Cameron was talking about, who couldn't afford the land? So if you make the land for sale, how many lots are going to be for sale in this subdivision? Where are they going to be located? Are they going to be spotted all over? Are they going to be portioned to the front? And the back is going to be community land trust? These are all things I'd like to know.
Okay, well then let me answer your question. Let me answer your
I
question.
have lots of questions here, but I'm just saying these questions here, as they're construed, and they are construed in a negative sort of way, the way they're written. It's not as they were published.
Okay, so to clarify that, that's what I got from the city, so I can't help you with that. All I can tell you is that's what I got from the city. I got it from Sean Rayburn. That's who, Sean Rayburn. And all I did was I widened the page. That's all I did to make it fewer pages. No. So let me answer his questions. Okay, so the land trust, again, it's not going to be the whole subdivision. It possibly could. And again, so in the beginning, Joy was throwing ideas. We all have great ideas in which directions these things can go. But that does not mean, even though she said it, you heard it, it was in writing somewhere, it does not mean that that is the direction we are going in now. Within our organization itself, we are restructuring everything. We are making sure that we look at all points of view, that we look at all possibilities. We look at our builders. We look what their requirements are, like MDS and Habitat, what their requirements are. You know, they require that they own the property. We can't put that in a land trust. And the land trust, again, is only for the benefit of the person. So again, it will be case by case by case, to where it may only be 5, 10 lots. Who knows? There may not be any.
Tell me where that community land trust of a piecemeal lot basis exists in the United States. I'd like to know where it is.
If it's not, we're going to create
it. It doesn't exist in Austin as far as I know.
You know what? We are LaGrange. We're creating our own unique subdivision based on our needs. So if it doesn't,
exemption for state law, and I don't know how the appraisal district is going to work with this. So you got to tell us how it's going to work now. We're asking.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I can't tell you right this moment how many lots are going to be community land trusts, but I can tell you that it's going to be based on individual need. So we want to keep the individual need of our clients our number one priority. Now, everyone probably thinks that everyone that lived down there in that trailer park was low income. Well, I can tell you that you're completely misinformed. There were people living in that subdivision that made 6 figures, but the reason that they lived there is because it was the only affordable place to stay. So we need to get this misconception that all of these people are low income, that all of these people, whatever they may be, that they're just citizens of LaGrange. So they, based on if they want, we may have clients that come in and we give them the piece of land and they want to build, MDS only gives 2 different options, a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. So this family may want to build a 4-bedroom because they're a huge family. So you know what? They decide to go and get a mortgage and hire their own builder to build on the lot.
Can anybody buy one of those lots?
After all of our flood survivors are taken care of, then anyone.
I think you actually answered part of my question I was going to ask you.
Okay.
You said that the infrastructure and all that has to be approved by the city of was gonna ask about that because of your annexation that you guys have. How long have you been gonna be annexed? I mean, when did you decide, is there a date that you have that you're gonna be annexed into this city?
So what we have to do, and this is instructions per the city, is we have to provide our preliminaries. Once they're approved, we have a couple of weeks after that to get in our finals. At that time, we submit our annexation request. Once all of that's approved, then we submit our construction plans.
And you talked to the city about that for all that to?
Yes.
Do you know the date that you talked to the city about being annexed by any chance, ballpark?
It was like one of the first days I was working here, so
Would it have been an email?
August?
Would it have been an email?
No. We actually went
So
to
you talked in
the
person?
city. We went and had a meeting with our engineer, with the city
Who from the city was in that?
assistant, Frank Menifee, Sean Rayburn, some of the board members, myself, our designer.
That's been since you have worked for?
Yeah, yes, that was at the beginning of August.
What do you guys do if you've done all this and your annexation gets rejected by the city? Unless you have a guarantee that they're already gonna do it.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
County.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to figure that out when we get there, you know, honestly.
Mr. Jackson, Mr. Heath, on the plat, it is very obvious that the sheet flow of water that will come off the hill is not being taken care of. The pond, the engineer, I guess, assumed that that would be a retention pond, but the sheet flow comes would be to the southeast and drains right into Ralph Rosenberg's in his creek. So it goes back to Roman law. You cannot flood other people's property. So if you need your engineer to rethink this, replat it, or get another engineer, and I am sure the city will employ their engineer. Because, you know, it's like I get a doctor, you get a doctor. You get an engineer, I get an engineer.
Yep.
But that would be setting not only the city, but this organization up for a huge litigation.
Miss Mabry, our highest points here are on both, right here. These are our highest flood points where it's the drainage is.
No, but
So, but there's no drainage towards the property here or here. It all goes back into the pond. So
I
water
appreciate
does not
that,
flow.
and I will certainly ask about that. That's one of the.
There's not been a topographical survey of that.
Okay, that's one of the reasons that I'm real pleased that Bruce is a part of this group too.
But there has been no
Because I think if you look at it, you'll see the topo on it. But I am more than eager to check on that. I think I appreciate it.
Okay, Candy, Miss Candy, I'm sorry, Pastor Candy.
It's pretty much let me show you something, boy. I have no idea. Now, you're not
Pastor Candy has the floor.
Let's talk about it.
No, go ahead.
I have a question, I have a couple of questions that I need to ask. One,
Stop. Would you? Just stop.
I have a couple of questions. Number one, I appreciate, because I was in on this as the Grange Ministerial Alliance at the beginning when we had to do some of this stuff. Having seen what some of the things happen with disasters, we're kind of at the place where we're supposed to be, right? Or we not supposed to be, but in the flow of things, it's kind of where we seem to be. The question that I have is, it seems like at this point where we should be in disaster recovery is to have people with the expertise to be in the upper positions of this right now. So it feels like what we need to have, and I'm not an expert, I'm a theologian.
So it feels like what we need is we need engineers or planners, architects, plan utit, whatever that is, that kind of thing there. Certainly as part of that, we need to have people who are experts at disaster recovery. And I think that's the one thing that we have not had since the very beginning. What we set up as the Ministerial Alliance was a place we had to have a conduit. And that's the reason we set up the 501c, whatever that is, 501 whatever. I should know that, I'm a finance person. But, you know, I wasn't a good one, that's why I'm here.
She didn't have a prayer.
I didn't, right. So, but when we set that up, we set it up as a conduit because literally thousands of dollars were coming in. And we looked at it and we said, you know, not our wheelhouse. When the disaster recovery team was set up, that's when the money got transferred because we knew it wasn't in our wheelhouse. But it seems like at this point where we need to be is you need to have some people at the very tippy top who are certainly responsible with disaster, whoever experienced with disaster recovery. I remember having conversations, being in meetings in that back room over there with Fayette County, or not Fayette County, Bastrop County disaster response people. So I don't understand why we don't have people who are experts in, number one, disaster response, and number two, people that if you're going to do building or even anything beyond basic repairs, when I say basic repairs, I mean what we did with sheetrock and having to redo all of that stuff, and construction folks, I don't understand why we don't have people with that kind of expertise sitting at the upper positions. I appreciate what you have done because you have said, you know, I'm a member of this community, and for a certain extent, Joy Cameron, I'm a transplant. I don't have any preconceived ideas of I like this person, I don't like this person, this was a good family, this wasn't a good family. I don't have that. What I do have is a sense that there are some people that wanted to help right off the bat. And we appreciated that in the opening months of this recovery because that was necessary. But now we've moved beyond the needing to put boots on the ground, and now we need to have a little bit more of a strategic plan. And I don't feel like we're using the resources. I know, I've talked to Brandon and Brittany Sheilak within 3 weeks of this occurrence, and I know they have been chomping at the bit not to get in there and muck out houses. That's not their wheelhouse. But they are people who can put people on the ground that can do stuff like that. And they have been shoved aside and not been utilized. If you ask them to muck out a house, they're not going to be able to do it. But some of these folks, and I'll be honest, I don't know what his wheelhouse is either, but I know what I've talked to.
Running a business plan.
But it seems like we are not putting the people that have the expertise into the place where they need to be. And right now what we need are people that prepare, that do disaster preparedness, and people that are builders. Builders that can fix houses, builders that can build houses, builders that can lift houses up 5 feet, whatever it is, those people know what to do. God love them. We need them to be doing that.
And that's what I think a receivership would do.
I understand.
It would put it in the hands of just exactly what has
My
to be
second question, if I would, please, and I realize that was a statement, not a, so I apologize for that because I'm doing exactly what I hate press people to do.
Kind of like a senator.
The other thing is that I was asked to ask, is there a cost to the people, the case, the survivors, the people that are having, thank you, that's the word I was looking for, clients, to transfer, if they were to decide to transfer their clientage from you guys to UMCOR, is there a charge?
No.
For that? They can do that.
For
Can
Rio,
they get their records? Do they get
from
their
Rio,
records?
yes, we hand deliver them to Rio at no charge.
Rio, is that your understanding as well?
It is as of today. And I'm just saying the thing is I know that there was one client who was charged.
There was a client who wanted her own personal copy, her own personal copy. An additional copy was then given to Rhea at no charge.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the
Yes,
person that
and
was
that's
moving out,
policy.
so,
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
And I don't have so much a question, but a statement, because I realize you guys are all very passionate about your city. Everybody who is doing disaster recovery is very passionate, which is great. The thing is, the fact that you're here is amazing. In every disaster county in Texas that's dealing with Harvey right now, the thing is, after a year, what we need are manpower. We need people who will actually volunteer. Across the board, we lack volunteers, period. People who can do whatever it is that they're good at. Muck and gut, we still need people who will go in and cut out sheetrock and spray shockwave on mold. We need people who know how to do roofs. We need people who can put sheetrock in, install it, tape and float, people who can put in vinyl flooring. We need money. We need, and we need material. If you have a way to donate that, those are things we need across the board, not just in Fayette County. Like every county that we're doing disaster case management in needs these things. The main thing is that you have to remember, whether it's Hope Hill or just people being helped by disaster case management, because everything that Fayette County Long-Term Recovery Group or DRT is doing is not about Hope Hill. It's also about helping lots of other people too. Hope Hill is just one part of what they're doing, and one part of what Rio, Texas is helping in this county, is that these are citizens of your county. They're your neighbors. Hope Hill is not designed for people outside of this county. My understanding is all these people are part of LaGrange, part of Fayette County. They're already here. They just need to find a new home within your city, within your boundaries. So the thing is, these aren't new people. They're people you go and when you're sitting down at a meal, they're your waitress. They're the person that you see at the grocery store. That said, these are people you encounter every single day. You just don't know what their situation is because they don't tell you. Their kids go to school with your kids or your grandkids. They are your nurse. They're your
Bank teller.
yeah, your bank teller. So the thing is, so my point is, don't look at these things as being something outside of what you do, but if you have ideas, that's what the board is for. Join the board. Get on a committee. Because the thing is, it's going to take every last one of us to get this done. And we're not going to be able to help everybody. There's not enough resources. There's not enough time. We're not. We can only do so much. Case managers get burned out. It's a burden. And a burden I gladly accept, a burden that every case manager I work with gladly accepts, because we live in these communities too. These are our friends and family and our community, and we love each and every one of you. And the people who pour their hearts out, we carry around your baggage like it's our own. We really do.
We have the advantage of having two of our councilmen here, city councilman, Councilman Island and Councilman Bush. And our city administrator shared something with us last night regarding our land commissioner, George P. Bush, and the GLO. And I just wondered if Councilman Island and Councilman Bush would share that with us tonight. Regarding Schulenburg.
They're going to,
In Schulenburg?
yeah, they're gonna move, they're gonna have one house in LaGrange or something, and then both or whatever they're gonna do. And I don't think they've even been approved for this.
Right. They just applied for it.
Yeah, they just got an application
Right.
for it.
Right.
But the main of it would be in Schulenburg.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not moving to Schulenburg.
No. Well, and
We
again,
want you to
that
stay.
is based around low income housing as
I
well,
work
so.
here. I moved from Smithville 3 years ago, so I can be closer to my work. I don't want to move away. I'm not used to this town. I like it.
We want Samaritan's Purse
And I want to
to
say,
buy you a lot and build you a house, right?
We can definitely ask them about that.
to try to find an available, affordable lot.
No bulkhead folks.
The cheapest one I found was $27,000 for a
That's a
tiny
bargain.
ass lot.
Well, you don't want a
It
big
is-
yard.
tiny lot for 25,000. Where my FEMA home is at now is where I lived at when I got flooded out. My little lot I have now is bigger than what that lot that someone's trying to sell for $25,000.
Get you a broker and haggle.
May I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
I went through these questions line by line, and they are exactly as written.
They're
So
not, they're not as written as
any
I
emotions
did.
you felt were conveyed is by your style of writing, not a.
No, I
change of
guarantee they're not, and you're absolutely right.
We can be friends. I have pictures from the day of, timestamped. We can go
I
right
got,
question
I
by
know
question.
exactly what was said, and how
Are you-
It's okay.
Are we getting any?
Does anyone have any other further questions? Yes,
Can I talk about maps? They're flat.
yes.
From, lot to lot that's existing there now? Is this the border of the houses there now?
If they didn't, then they're not in compliance with the contract.
This is the,
This house is existing there. You a native of Texas?
I was already in Colorado, I went to Mexico, I went to I lived in Farmington after I got go.
But you got to get Texas as quick as you could.
Well, it took a while, I had to go through Illinois and Indiana, and then I got down.
I can tell the way you talk, you know.
Harris County, you made it.
I don't think I
Part of my responsibility is to see what's done properly.
that's part of
Right here is where Ralph starts and goes all the way to bypass. And that water runs right here on the route, and then it goes back. And you put all this in here,